this with my body going on, it would not be a good thing. I mean, it would be a great thing. Don't get me wrong. But the Lions was such a fun season. And then when they started winning playoff games, I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. And then the first half of the 49ers game was chef's kiss perfect. And like, I know it was me. I jinxed it. I literally had thought, I'm like, is it possible we could win this game and go to the Super Bowl? And I was like, no. And I pummeled myself with lefts and with rights because that's how you jinx shit. And I do turn off my phone for the games. And of course, it was all y'all. When I pick up my phone after the ridiculous comeback, 80, 90 messages from people on all the social media platforms and texts like, Lions Super Bowl. And I was like, oh, you guys, that's not how we do it. That is not how you do this thing. All right, let's go to Maine, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get ready to do boom. We got Nick Ladd says, super excited about tonight's story. We have Link ready to have a showdown with Teddy Two Fingers and possibly 3 more in the magic carpet. Then we also in the last episode, Dragon bursting through the door like Kool-Aid Man, ready to blank some stuff up. Exactly. Yeah, D79, I think you know the pains of function. All right, we got a bunch to cover today. I totally forgot to tell you what we're talking about. No, I did. Live read Slay episode 46 coming right up. After the episode, this episode will drop on the same day as Super Bowl 58. A-Real Girl and I are going to make our picks after the live read, and we're going to do some shots. Wellness shots, that is, for the new advertiser. So I'm not getting crocked. Here we go. Big Nasty in the house. All right, ladies and gentlemen, looks like everything looks good. Let's get this buzzy off my shit. Let's rock out some Slay, babies. Let's go. I will move the chat over here so you guys don't bother me with your witty retorts and rejoinders and comments and witticisms and all those things. All right. That was unexpected. That should not have happened. Give me 1 sec, guys. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and hit record. Welcome to Slay. Had to turn off my fan. Let's try that again. Welcome to Slay episode number 46, titled Magic Carpet Ride. Let me get you caught up on the story, and then we're all going to check out Kellius Droman's green thumb. Previously on Slay. Magda tried to teach Billy to control his innate powers, but the plan went awry as Billy's frustration turned to intense heat that set the old stone church's basement ablaze. To make matters worse, an enraged dragon burst through the basement door to protect Billy, which puts Magda in grave danger. Meanwhile, Lincoln tracked Teddy Two Fingers to Kellius Droman's mansion, where Teddy is using a meshwork carpet to sneak through Droman's defenses in an apparent attempt to kidnap Droman's 13-year-old daughter, Delilah. Lincoln used crossbow bolts charged with green hellfire to blow a gap in the wall surrounding Droman's mansion, then drove his motorcycle straight for that hole. And now, episode 46 of Slay. Lincoln's between cloak trailed behind him, dying curls of green hellfire flickering on the flat gray leather. The mansion's grounds were bigger than they'd seen from the outside. Off to his left, a long patio leading out from the mansion's west side, a marble walkway stretching from it to a marble fountain straight ahead of him, complete with water-spitting cherubs lit up by angled ground lights. A row of lush, towering, 20-foot-tall arborvitae lined each side of the walkway. Shitbird's vision showed a magic carpet full of fuckheads landing on the mansion's roof. A wide-eared goblin in street clothes. A woman with cornrows wearing an apple-red kimono with voluminous sleeves that hid her hands. A second woman wearing a steel cuirass atop green camo fatigues. And a man with thinning, long white hair, dressed like an 80s rock star in black leather jacket and black leather pants, a long sword scabbard at his side. The white hair hadn't changed. It was him. Finally. Teddy fucking 2 fingers. The carpet let them bypass Droman's automated meshwork defenses. Lincoln did not have that advantage. The tops of the conical arborvitae shimmered, morphed from manicured points of foliage hands. The tops of the conical arborvitae shimmered, morphed from manicured points into foliage hands big enough to wrap around Lincoln's chest. The bushy green stems bent down and the fingers stretched toward him. He banked his bike right, dodging a hand that smashed into the walkway so hard it cracked marble tiles. Lincoln's skid turned left and ducked to the side as another hand clenched the air above him. The hubless rear wheel squealed on marble, then shot bike and rider alike down the walkway toward the mansion. On both sides, anthropomorphic arborvitae bent and reached for him, some with foliage fingers outstretched, some balled into shrub fists the size of dumpsters. The evergreen automatons didn't know he was there to help. And to gut Teddy like a fish, of course, but still to help. Too many trees, moving too fast. Lincoln hopped up, put both feet on the seat, and squatted low. "Sursum," he said, leaping high, aided by his between cloak pushing off the seat like a coiled gray spring. He soared skyward as arborvitae fists smashed down on the Verge TS, turning the beautiful electric bike from a sleek machine into a shower of shattered plastic and bent metal. Lincoln sailed through the air above the arborvitae that reached up for him, too slow and too late. His trailing cloak's Sursum spell added to his already powerful leap, combining with the bike's forward momentum to arc him up toward the mansion's 3rd-story roof. Dragon's long body reared up like a giant snake about to strike, a telephone pole-thick python, orange firelight reflecting off 1,000 ebony scales. Reptilian eyes darted from the flaming crucible to Magda to the blazing ceiling to Billy, still prone on the burning training mat. Magda held up her hands, fingers spread wide. "Dragon baby," she said. "It ain't what it looks." Dragon's tooth-filled mouth opened wide, wider than Dragon's tooth-filled mouth opened wide, wider than Magda would have thought possible, like that of a whale shark. So wide the lighter skin between her jaws stretched thin and translucent. Air rushed into the gaping maw, so fast Magda felt the fabric of her pajamas flapping and rattling around her arms and legs as if a high wind blew from behind. The flames on the ceiling, on the mat, rising up from the red-hot barrel, all stretched toward the mouth like shuddering orange tentacles, were pulled by the tsunami force winds. Dragon opened her mouth even wider. The fire poured in. She closed her mouth. All the fires were out. Only blackened wood, glowing metal, scorched mat, curling smoke, and a moaning Billy Middleton remained, his borrowed clothes scorched through in a dozen places. Dragon shimmered, then shrank back down to her dachshund form. "Holy shit," Magda said. "I didn't know you could do that." The dog belched. Black smoke curled up from her little mouth and little nostrils. Magda moved to help Billy. As he soared through the air, cloak trailing behind him, Lincoln drew his Vepr 12 shotgun and Tizona, his broadsword. He silently arced down toward where the flying carpet lay on the roof, next to a hole thickly ringed with what looked like sawdust. The goblin stood on the carpet, waiting there like a getaway car driver left with the motor running. He looked up the moment before Lincoln touched down, and he caught a 12-gauge slug in the face for his troubles. Perhaps the goblin had magic protection, perhaps not. And perhaps he had meshwork healing ability. But no meshwork could regenerate the brains that blew out the back of his skull to splatter on carpet, sawdust, and white roof alike. Lincoln hopped lightly as he touched down, skipping up just enough to drop through the strange hole in the roof. Neat and almost circular, wood beams sliced as if by a bandsaw. As his boots touched down on pink carpet, he twisted his shoulders in an oft-practiced move that spun his between cloak around him, obscuring his body's outline behind the spreading, tattered, flat gray leather. Utter chaos. A small, high-ceiling living room with Barbie pink walls and Pepto-pink furniture. In one corner, what looked like a gorilla made of ivy tendrils punched and pulled at a thick, 2-meter-long dark blue centipede wrapped around its neck. The gleaming centipede's huge, curved fangs snapped viciously, tearing free chunks of stem and leaf. Behind the vine golem, a terrified, blonde teenage girl wearing some kind of puffy pink pajamas. In the center of the room, the kimono woman floated in midair, with a fatigue-wearing woman standing on the floor next to and below her. In another corner, an exhausted man wearing a brown suit and wielding a short sword and small buckler shield struggled to defend himself against Teddy's strong, deft swordwork. Bleeding cuts lined the man's suit and face. Lincoln recognized him. Finicus Palmore, a bodyguard Lincoln had run into a couple of times back in his Rixator days. Teddy's sword had a thick, intricate basket hilt that protected his fingers, or at least what was left of them. "Hey, cocksucker," Lincoln said. "Been looking for you." Teddy, his face lined by age and evil, saw Lincoln, and his expression shifted from delighted malice to infuriated resentment. "You," he said, the single word a contemptuous curse. Teddy's distraction gave Palmore an opening. He lunged, thrusting at Teddy's chest. Teddy seemed to sense more than see the strike coming. He pivoted quickly. The blade sliced through black leather of the jacket's lapel, but missed flesh and bone entirely. Lincoln moved toward Teddy. The woman in the fatigues stepped to the side, blocking Lincoln's path. Long orange talons slid from her fingertips. The meshwork Kellius would protect her from his shotgun, he could see that at a glance. Lincoln slid the Vepr 12 back into the folds of his cloak. She took a step toward him, then hesitated. He saw recognition in her eyes. She knew who he was. This was normally the part where Lincoln would say something corny, like, "You can drop your weapon and go, but if you try me, I will cut you down." He liked to give people a chance to do the smart thing. Not because he didn't enjoy a duel to the death, which, he had to admit, a perverse part of him did, but rather because it made him feel better about himself when he ran that dumb fucker through. Normally, he would make that offer. But not today. Not for someone abducting a child. "Droman is coming," the kimono-wearing woman called out. "I can sense his energy. We have to go, now!" A swarm of yellow-black insects poured from her billowing right sleeve. The instant cloud swirled around the feet of the vine golem, still struggling with the huge centipede wrapped around its neck and chest. Bits of carpet and wood rose up from the cartoonish cloud. Teddy slashed at Finicus, who parried but stumbled back from the blow. "Sophie, take the Rixator!" Teddy shouted. "Now!" The woman in fatigues rushed forward, slashed at Lincoln with her long, wicked claws. Lincoln sidestepped right, easily dodging the strike, and in the same motion, he twisted, whipping Tizona out and up and in and down. The blade sliced through her left forearm, severing it. Sophie's momentum carried her stumbling forward as she stared at the spurting stump. She crashed into a couch, her blood gushing across the white-trimmed pink fabric. Lincoln turned to face Teddy, just as Teddy drove his broadsword through Palmore's sternum, all the way to the basket hilt. Teddy yanked the blade free as Palmore crumbled to the pink carpet. "Nice hilt," Lincoln said. "Gotta guard those few fingers you have left, eh, fuckstick?" Teddy needed to die. Die slowly. Die begging. Lincoln stepped forward. The harsh cracking of wood. The floor beneath the vine golem gave way. The floor beneath the vine golem gave way. The floor beneath the vine golem gave out, dropping it down to crash hard on the floor below. Now nothing stood between Delilah and the kimono woman. The woman floated toward the girl, who raised two tiny, trembling fists. "Grab that bitch!" Teddy shouted. "Let's get out of here!" Lincoln took another step toward Teddy, but paused. The girl was so small, so scared. Kimono woman grabbed Delilah's wrist. Delilah screamed, punched with a free hand, pulled at the voluminous silk sleeves of her attacker, all to no avail. Kimono woman floated up to the hole in the ceiling, pulling the girl up with her. Press Teddy, kill Teddy, or stop the wizard woman from taking a child who had done nothing to no one, an innocent. Like Teddy had taken Sam. Lincoln ran at the woman, who soared up through the hole in the roof, dragging Delilah off the floor. Lincoln reached, snatched the girl's ankle, and yanked hard, pulling her free of the woman's grasp. As Delilah fell, Lincoln sensed the song of metal streaking at his face. He flinched away, bringing to zone up in a weak, too-hurried parry, enough to slow Teddy's slash but not to stop it. Lincoln felt the lacing sting of meshwork-imbued steel kiss his cheekbone. Lincoln lashed out with a backhanded sweep, felt his blade dig through leather only to clang off unseen armor. He stepped back, making sure he was between the girl and Teddy, then started forward to attack, but before he took a step, two more giant centipedes streaked down through the hole with a sound like swamp boats racing across the Everglades. A pair of buzzing insectile wings flapped on each of the 100+ segments on the centipedes' bodies. Lincoln stepped back again, put a hand behind him to make sure he knew where Delilah was. In that moment of hesitation, one centipede wrapped around Teddy, the other coiled around Sophie. Lincoln rushed forward, but he was too late. Lincoln rushed forward, but he was too late. Wings roaring, the centipedes and their cargo shot up and out of the hole. He bent to leap through the roof to give chase, small arms cinched tight around his waist in a desperate hug. "Don't leave me!" With his free hand, he grabbed Delilah's wrist, squeezed hard, and yanked it away from himself all in the same motion, then sprang up through the hole. Even before his feet set down on the roof, he saw the covert carpet whipping away into the night sky, the woman in the red kimono in front, Teddy two fingers on the back end, flipping Lincoln, the bird. Lincoln reached for his crossbow. The carpet and riders alike vanished from sight. "Shitbird, follow my gaze! Track him!" Lincoln focused, stared at the spot in the night sky where Teddy had vanished, willing himself to see the carpet. Out of the corner of his eye, he caught a glimpse of flapping black as Shitbird streaked toward the area. If the crow could find the carpet, follow it, then a girl's scream from below, one worthy of a horror movie. Hating himself for doing so, Lincoln tore his eyes away from Teddy's escape and looked down through the hole. The iridescent blue centipede that had been fighting the golem scurried toward Delilah, who was on her butt, scrambling backward across the bloody pink carpet, her left hand at her chest. Her back hit the wall. Hundreds of sickly, trembling legs pushed the long beast toward her. The black fangs opened wide. Lincoln dropped through the hole and slashed down as he landed. Tizona split the centipede in two from the head halfway down the body. Black fluid sprayed out from greenish flesh. "You fucking piece of shit!" Lincoln had looked away before Shitbird could spot the rug, which meant Teddy had gotten away clean. "Motherfucker!" Lincoln slashed down again, splitting the beast like a blue-shelled lobster, almost all the way to the tail. "I could have had him!" He kicked at the mutilated centipede, sent it flying against the wall in a splash of black goo. "I will cut you into 1,000 fucking pieces!" He stepped toward the nasty mess, drawing Bastard Maker as he did so he could chop the cocksucker into 1,000 bits, so he could puree it, so he could... "Mister, are you okay?" That voice, laced with fear, with pain, stopped Lincoln in his tracks. He turned. Delilah was still on her butt in the corner, her right hand holding her left protectively against her sternum. Black centipede goo streaked her pink pajamas, which Lincoln now saw weren't pajamas at all, but rather a fuzzy pink onesie. "Am I okay?" Lincoln glanced back toward the mangled mess of still twitching centipede, its blood dripping down the pink wall in black streaks, spreading across the pink carpet. He had completely lost his shit there for a minute. His head still bubbled with hate, with rage, with frustration. He looked back at the girl. "Never been better. Thanks for asking. What happened to your wrist?" She winced. "I think it's broken from when you grabbed it." A wash of hot shame coursed through Lincoln. Had he grabbed the girl that hard? He didn't remember. "That lady in the red kimono grabbed you too," he said. "Maybe it was her." "It was you." Delilah winced with pain. "But let's make that our secret. Daddy won't like it if he knows you broke my arm. You're Lincoln Franks, right?" Lincoln felt lower than he had in a long time. Had he hurt that girl? And now she wanted to cover for him? "Yeah," he said. "Delilah Droman, I presume?" She let go of the left hand long enough to wipe black goo from her pale face, but only managed to smear it around. "That's me," she said. "There's some Band-Aids in my bathroom." "Band-Aids? You cut?" "No, you are," Delilah said. "Your cheek." Lincoln put his right gauntlet under his left armpit, pinched down to pull his hand free. He touched his cheek, first felt blood, then the deep sting of flesh sliced down to bone. Band-Aids weren't going to cut it. He needed Magda. "Mr. Palmore," Delilah said. Is he dead?" Lincoln looked to the brown-suited body lying face up on the blood-spattered pink carpet. Palmore's lifeless eyes stared out. Lincoln walked to him. The wet, wide blood stain on Palmore's white shirt at his sternum told the story, but Lincoln checked the man's pulse anyway. "Yeah," Lincoln said. "He's dead." Delilah sniffed. "Dead? Because of me?" She felt bad. That wouldn't bring Finnicus back, but it was something. "He died protecting you," Lincoln said. "Not because of you." She sniffed again. For what this girl had just endured, was still enduring, she kept her composure. Delilah Droman was one tough cookie. "If you hadn't shown up, they would have taken me," she said. "Thank you, Mr. Franks." That, too, was something. Her gratitude didn't dilute Lincoln's anger and frustration, but it didn't exacerbate it either. Delilah glanced upward as if listening for something. The floor started to vibrate. Then the whole room did the same, and Lincoln knew the entire mansion was shaking from the wake of a massively powerful meshworker. "Daddy's home," Delilah said. "Can you help me up, Mr. Franks? It might be better if he sees me before he sees you. Daddy can misunderstand things sometimes." Billy said. Ariella was super pissed off. Man, Billy said. Ariella was super pissed off about the basement damage. You sure we should be using her office like this? He was sitting in Ariella's chair at Ariella's desk because that is where Magda had told him to sit. Mags had insisted because there were no other chairs in the old stone church, and also, probably, because doing so would piss off Ariella even further. If she didn't want us to use her office, Magda said, she should have told us not to use it before she raced off to Droman's after Link called her. Magda's weird doctor bag sat open on Ariella's desk. Magda held a mason jar half full of a stinking, sickly green liquid. She dipped a pair of chopsticks into the jar, came out with a glistening purple-brown thing that sort of resembled a Hershey's Kiss if Hershey's Kisses were made from rotted internal organs. Billy looked away. Man, how many more of those things you could have put on me? Till you run out of burn blisters, Magda said. Or I run out of fusculas. Fusculas. Magda had weird-ass names for all the weird-ass things in her weird-ass doctor bag. She placed the dollop of nasty flesh on one of Billy's burns. He hissed in pain, but on that spot, the pain faded quickly, almost instantly, just as it had the other dozen or so times she had put one on him. And I thought the worms were gross, Billy said. I'm a vomit if I have to look at these things. Then don't look at them. Magda dipped the chopsticks into the jar again. I clean up wounds, not barf. She placed another fusculus on another oozing blister. Burns hurt, but Billy sighed with the relief brought on by the quivering dollop of flesh. He had to admit that Magda's medicine, if that's what this could be called, worked well. Hey, Mags, did you know Dragon could do that? You mean eat fire? I did not. That little thing is full of surprises. As if on cue, the sleek, long-haired black dachshund pranced into the office, a tattered, stuffed giraffe in her mouth. There's my pal, Billy said. Saved me from myself like Darth Vader and Magma. Who's a good girl? Who's a good girl? Dragon reveled in the praise, circling madly while shaking the giraffe back and forth. Magda picked up the mason jar lid, screwed it on, put the jar back in her doctor's bag. You're all set, Lil B, she said. Give it a few minutes, then go ahead and borrow more of Lincoln's clothes. He won't mind. Billy looked at the clothes he was wearing. Burn holes in the black and gray flannel, more on the jeans, and his boot soles had melted into misshapen, Bigfoot-style prints. Magda set the slime-coated chopsticks on Ariella's immaculate desktop. Droplets of the smelly fluid spread across polished wood. A little gift for Ariella, Magda said. She should be at Droman's by now. See, Lil B? Didn't I tell you Link would get us out of debt? Ariella may be a bitch, but she'll get that deal with Droman done. I lay odds you'll have real training in no time flat. Billy hoped so. If he wanted to learn how to use a staff to beat the living shit out of someone, he would go to Magda. As far as training magic went, though, Magda clearly knew fuck all. Worse than fuck all. She'd almost burned the whole church down. Correction. She'd almost made Billy burn the whole church down. Maybe Grandma had been right to hide those powers away. I'm going to go out back and play fetch with Dragon, he said, after I get some clothes. You sure Lincoln won't mind? Magda laughed, reached into the doctor's bag, and came out with a pint of Red Star vodka. Lil B, I'll wager a guess that right now, clothes are the last thing Lincoln is worried about. That was episode 46 of Slay. Next episode will be 47. Lincoln and Droman are going to have a nice chat. We got to see if we find out where Teddy got away to. Good day. All done. Woo! Woo! All right, we're back. Apparently, I got to go block some spammy piece of shit. Let's go back. Oh, God, I hate these fucking people. I got to block whatever. Bye, bitch. Goodbye. Goodbye. That was a fun episode. I enjoyed that. If you were playing the drinking game, though, if you have to drink every time I do a snap, good luck. You're in trouble. So those of you who don't know, real quick, when I do the live read, since we take this exact audio and edit it up, clean it up, and use that for both the podcast and the audiobook, if I screw up a take, snap my fingers twice, that tells whoever is editing that we need to, that's a punch-in. A punch-in is coming. And we've been doing that for years and years and years. And so it works live. So we just do the retake live. And then basically at the end of the day, we got everything ready to go. Hi, baby.
Hey.
Gotta make myself some tea, y'all. Here we go. Pour myself some tea. And if you're also new here, yes, the entire Slay Season 1 is available. And that is on iTunes, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcast. Just search for Scott Sigler Slices or Scott Sigler Slay. You're going to find it, and everything is going to be A-OK. Let me get A's mic undone here. Everything is going to be all right. Ladies and gentlemen, look who's here. It's a real girl herself. Yay! Oh, shit. I always forget something. I'll tell you what. Move this over here. Okay.
Everything is gonna be all right.
All right, babies.
All right.
Restream bot. A is that. Okay, all the way back down. There we go.
Sean, it's just for the story. We would have to get together with those guys again to have another interview, which we will probably try and do.
Yeah.
But they're busy guys, so we can't do it right away. But if you want to stay in sync with the story, that you can find just before this video. He did a reread, I think Thursday, maybe the next day he did it.
Right. So if you, wherever you watch these videos, go to the episode before this one and you're going to find it. Redid the whole thing. And I posted it at the same places. I guess I should have sent out a notice about that, you guys. My bad. All right. Is that my script? Thanks,
yeah.
Pumpkin.
Our date night last week was fun. We, do I have a minute to kind of catch them up on
let's
our crazy
do it.
week?
Rock it out.
So we are both very, very busy with Slay. He's busy with Crypt as well right now. And so we needed a little bit of a break. That said, it has been raining to beat the band here, and both of our puppies are currently recovering from illness. So last Wednesday, we actually went downstairs and couldn't bear leaving both dogs who had Squeaky had 3 teeth removed that very day, and Reese's recovering from a kidney infection, and they were too cute and we couldn't leave them home. We couldn't leave them home alone, so we had cocktails at home and it was very nice.
We're going to go get our restaurant grilled cheese later. We're going to do that some other time. All right, we got a bunch of fun stuff to cover. Shit. Oh, sorry. Fun stuff to cover. So here's what's going on. Let me get you caught up on everything. First of all, of course, if you're not signed up for the SMS alerts, they're great, they're simple, they're fun, no spam, no nothing like that. Text the word SIGTEXT to 855-955-5095. And we send out notices for when live streams or new episodes drops or new books drop or anything major along those lines. And if you have any questions, you want to email those to info@emptyset.com. A processes those questions as they come through, and we do question episodes from now and then.
You can send them whenever you have them. You don't have to wait until the end. And of course, you should be signed up for the newsletter, scottsigler.com/newsletter. So if I was you, I'd go SMS and newsletter. Home free, buddy. Because you can't count on Facebook to show you anything. Can't count on Twitter to show you anything. Even if you follow obsessively everything that I do, thanks, stalker, you still might miss an opportunity, to see me through the window, as they say in stalker world. So that's all right. Now let's give you the schedule of the stank. Here's what is coming up. Sunday, February 4th, which just happened, Slay 45 went live in the feed. So, of course, that's the other way to hear the previous episode. If you don't want to watch the video and just want to hear it, it's in your podcast feed for Scott Sigler Slices. And then Saturday, February 10th, the Junkie Meetup will be going down. Steve the Iceberg Ricky Berg hosts a massive 7-hour Zoom hangout with all y'all junkies. BYOB. And yeah, go ahead, babe.
That is normally the first Saturday of every month, but this month it is this coming Saturday, even though this is a short month. It's this coming Saturday, and I will be joining in and out for a handful of the time. Scott normally has band practice, so he does not join, but I will be there this time. I will be home and online with you guys.
J. Scott Gray says, how did you ever come up with a name for the newsletter? See, sir, I am a professional communicator. I have literal degrees in communication. So it took a while. We did a couple focus groups.
Yeah.
You know, we got
It was mostly the dogs, and they don't really.
Yeah, they didn't talk too much. Our group of Latvians, though, really leaned towards this. And as they say in marketing and on Fifth Avenue, whatever the Latvians go for, everybody's going to go for. That's a fact, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so let's go. And then we have coming up Sunday, February 11th, the episode you just heard, Slave 46, will go live in the feed. Wednesday, February, also what?
Also, since you guys are all GFL fans, now you can watch the Super Bowl and talk intelligently about it if you weren't a football fan before, which I know most of you are.
Yeah. And let's see. And Wednesday, February 14th, Valentine's Day themed Sigler in Place. So we're going to have us a date on air. Don't get crazy. It's just all hands above the table date, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have a date. You know they were going to comment on it. You know they do. Look at them. We're going to have a date on air, a little fun. And if you don't have a Valentine's Day date, you are our Valentine's Day date. Mm-hmm. Get yourself some treats. Get yourself a drink if you want one. Come hang out with us. I don't know that I will be having a drink, though.
Oh, why is that?
Because we are doing dry-ruary.
We are?
Yeah. Well, I am. Are you doing dry-ruary?
I mean, I'm probably doing dry the rest of my life until I'm out of menopause, but yes, because that doesn't work for me.
See, there's dry-uary, but I did the math and I read the letters because, again, I'm a man of words. And January, because we released Jan with dry, that's dry-uary. Makes perfect sense. Then I told her we're doing a dry-uary in February because both on an airy. And she's all like, another one? I'm like, no, this will not stand. It must be its own standout. So if you're going to do it, it's Shit, I had it written down. It's dry-ruary. February dry-ruary.
That rolls off the tongue.
Dry. It's like it's
dry-uary.
It's the same tactics and techniques I used to come up with a newsletter title because I just understand what flows off the tongue. All right. Now, let's get into the fun stuff. Here we go.
We do have two notes in the chat room. Tuesday is Fat Tuesday. It's Mardi Gras. And according to J. Scott Gray, we are obligated to celebrate. So hopefully you have a king cake. It's going to be delicious. And Dawn Shipley says she's going to miss the Valentine's Day cast because next Wednesday is also Ash Wednesday and she will be at services. So that's a very exciting start to this season with Mardi Gras and Ash Wednesday too for those people who...
Rob's trying to make Fredryary.
January works so much better.
February.
Okay.
Who said what? Jen? What?
Sean
Wetuary.
said it can't since January works so much better than dryuary.
Well, Wetuary would be great, and that's what March is going to be, because it's going to be Warch. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we got two more things to cover today. We're going to get into our Super Bowl picks, including picks by Rob Otto, co-creator of Slay, Big John Viscara, and our super surprise secret fifth picking guest. But before we get into that, we're combining the fun stuff with paying the bills, and we got an ad for you. And I did not have time to make a jingle for this, but I will, because is all right. Our factor this week is our sponsor this week is Factor. Factor. Go to factormeals.com/Sigler50 and you get 50% off of your first box from Factor. They send you ready to go meals and ready quickly assembled meals, and they're I've been surprised, pretty freaking good.
I was about to say, so we, of course, when we advertise, once a year when you advertise, whoever these meal kits are, they will send you so that you know what you're doing. And I love to cook, and I'm quite surprised by how absolutely easy, I know it shouldn't be, but absolutely easy it is for Factor. Factor comes fresh. They're never frozen. You can freeze it if you want to, but it's not frozen. And you put it in the microwave for 2 minutes, pretty much. All of the directions are that. And it's that easy, and it's good. And I don't know why I thought it wouldn't be good, but it's delicious.
I didn't think it'd be good either, frankly. I did not think it would. Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals make it easy to eat better every day. Wherever tomorrow takes you, be ready with pre-prepared, chef-crafted, and dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. Use the code Sigler50 at factormeals.com/Sigler50 to get 50% off your first box and 2 free wellness shots per box while subscription is active. So for the first time, I haven't had these yet, we're going to try their wellness shots. And I didn't have time to make a jingle for Will Scott Make a Stink Face? Because every single time we try one of these tasting things, it's always like the inner colon of a camel. It's just,
oh my.
So I can't help making a face.
And I will tell you guys, I think a lot of you may have heard me say this, or you know me in person and you know this, but I am allergic to mango, and quite a lot of wellness shots and smoothie places and all that, they all have mango. And I can't even have mango, like, they would have to wash and sanitize the blender. So like, I never go to a smoothie place ever, because I can't. So I made sure that all of these, what's happening?
I fucking, Jay Scott blocked him again.
Oh, blocked him. Jay Scott, he's coming to get you if he blocked you accidentally. So he's coming to get you. These are the wellness shots. I double checked with Factor. None of them have mango in them. That Jay
Scott Gray said, Factor's meals are excellent, and I went to agree. And when I went to agree, as soon as somebody else popped up, it's a little complicated sometimes. At least for me. All right.
But did you fix it?
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah, so he's back. Sorry about that. So these are them. We of course got 3. I think we got more than 3 meals. But anyway, you get 2 each. You also get 2. We did get 6 meals from Factor. That's true. So they are 2 of the same one. We are the same one. So we're both gonna try them and then talk about it.
Yep.
So
and then Super Bowl Pics coming up right after this. It's gonna be fun, real
apple,
fun.
Ginger, lemon, cayenne.
I don't know why I hate Jay Scott so much, Rob. I don't know why I do this to him every friggin' week.
You have to decide. So we have apple, ginger, lemon, cayenne, or spinach, kale, celery, lemon, E3 live, because that sounds delicious. And lemon, apple, ginger, honey, turmeric.
Oh my God, turmeric. Okay,
black.
You know what? You pick, dealer's choice. Let's go with the green one since there was some green shit going on in the story today. Now listen.
Jay Scott Gray is back.
He's
and
back.
pouting.
He's back. Keep in mind, if you guys are studying my business acumen to find out how to get advertisers and keep advertisers happy, playing the game Will Scott Make a Stink Face while consuming their products is probably not a good idea.
Ages ago, friends of mine had a game they called Will A Lick It. And the answer, it turned out, was for every single time, yes.
Every food item.
Well, not necessarily, but mostly food items. But it had to be handable to me. And that was the thing. If they would hand it to me
that's
and
a
say,
good one.
do you want to lick that?
One.
I would lick it. So this is not quite that, but
here
we go.
So here we go to Maine.
Wait,
all right.
are we doing it
what are the
together?
ingredients of this?
You're not
you guys,
read it.
No, you read it to me earlier.
I know, but you're not going to want to drink it.
Spinach, kale, celery, lemon, E3 live, which I believe is bacteria. I don't know what the E3 live is. And live greens. Hopefully the greens are a giant pot of pot. I'm not going to take a big mouthful, right?
Right, but are we doing it at the same time? Are we trying to react or not react? Are we
just let it go. You'll probably, of course, you like everything. You'll be like,
let it go.
You'll be like, that's delicious, baby. I love these wellness shots, baby.
It smells very, very like healthy and fresh and green, which is good because it's green.
Baby, it's green. It's good for you. You should have some. That's how he talks every day, right?
It also tastes very green and fresh and healthy.
I choose to be unwell. That's.
It's pretty good. It's Scott is not a juicing kind of a guy.
I'll finish the job.
But it tastes well. You don't love celery. There must be celery in here. Yeah, there's celery in here, and it's sort of celery forward. Beth, you said you don't like kale. I don't taste the kale at all in here. I can definitely taste the celery, and I can taste the brightness of the lemon. So
Jen Hathorne says, tastes like a touchdown every time, buddy. Every time.
So
all right.
While Scott can't not make faces, this is actually pretty good. I don't know the wellness benefits of all of those. I should have looked that up, but no harm, no foul. That was pretty tasty.
Yeah, babe, I told you it's delicious. It's so good for you. It gets some greens and vitamin D and vitamin C up in your body.
I don't know if any of that is true.
Yes. I might be exaggerating just a tiny bit.
a tiny bit. All right, now let's talk football, motherfuckers.
So Scott asked a handful of us, me and 3 other participants, to give him our Super Bowl score and winner and MVP. So with my huge amount, comparatively to the rest of the crew, football acumen, I have made the winning decision,
I'm sure. Rob in the chat room says, how did you not try the ginger one? You love gingers. That is an absolute fact. That is a fact. All right, so we're getting into our football coverage now, ladies and germs.
Oh.
All right, here's how we're going to do this.
Let me see your tongue.
I'm not going to play Will Scott Lick It.
No, I just want to know if it's green. Nope.
Not green.
Not green.
Shit. I hope I haven't screwed this up, but we're going to take a quick look.
Okay.
Got to go to, all right, here we go. Yay, it worked.
Look at that.
It worked. So I had a little bit of time to make this graphic. I did not have time, though, to get us a little window in there. So we're just going to pop back and forth between here and there.
Okay.
So our expert pickers for the Super Bowl are Rob Otto, co-creator
That's a great
of
photo, Rob.
So that's Rob's profile. Everybody else got a photo. And John Vizcarra, obviously a completely impartial observer
Absolutely.
without any interest whatsoever in who wins or loses.
That is audiobook narrator A.B. Kovacs. If you go to abkovacs.com, that is the cover image. It's also before I learned how to do my eyebrows correctly. But, that doesn't matter for the football discussion.
And then number 4 from the left, of course, is me. And I saw John Vizcarra's picture. I'm like, well, fuck you. I'm putting on my shit, too.
Did you do that today?
I found a picture of me.
Okay.
I have several pictures of me in Lions gear because what an amazing, amazing, wonderful season that we had. And then on the right,
Hey, Angela.
Queen Derp herself is
Reese made
Reese.
picks?
Yeah, Reese made a pick. Reese made a pick.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about what our picks are for the game. And then we are going to, if we have time, we'll go over who we think the MVP is going to be. Because frankly, the MVP is always a quarterback.
Yeah, well.
It's always a fucking quarterback. So we'll. I mean, it's boring.
I have something to say about that when it comes time.
Okay, got something to say. Here we go. Our first pick, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if this actually works. First pick, Rob Otto picks the San Francisco 49ers. And Rob's score, boop, 34-24. That's
Hey,
a
nice
solid
work on
10-point win.
graphic.
Yeah, did I get that right, Rob? 34-24 San Francisco.
That's
yes,
a
I
solid
did.
win.
There we did. All right, and now, of course, Big John Vizcarra, who
I'm going to guess.
should be a judge in football court because he's unbiased.
Right.
Yeah.
That said, I think he's going to go for the Niners.
He's going to the Niners?
I think so.
Let's find out. Drum roll, please. Niners.
Oh,
Niners.
That's a big shock. It's a big shock.
Big shock. Big shock. And John's score prediction is 27-24 for San Francisco.
Well, John, you and I have similar thoughts.
Similar, very close, very similar. I noticed that. Very similar thoughts. Now we move on to the audiobook narrator, A.B. Kovacs. Her pick is the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs she picks. And what is her score? 27-24.
It'll be fun if John or I are correct.
Yeah, you guys be right on the money. Right on the money. All right. So now, of course, we got to, I've never done this. I've never made a public prediction. For the Super
Lord.
Bowl. So I'm making one here, and it's out there. It's
The
an
Lions
out.
can't win.
No, I did not. I would not do that to himself. So here you go. Scott's prediction for the Super Bowl is also the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh.
Now, I'm getting a little
Evenly divided. She's a tiebreaker.
And also, if you look from left to right, Rob picks 49ers by a big score.
Oh, are you 37?
John 27-24. You're 27-24.
Are you 37?
And Scott also predicts a big score, but the other way.
Oh,
31-17.
Wow.
Oop, yeah, 31-17. 31-17. All right, so now, okay, our dog used to be really smart. She could operate windows in the car, swear to God. Smartest dog I've ever seen in my life. Like her pops, that's sort of tapered off over the years. So Reese's pick for the winner of the Super Bowl 2024 is the Georgia Bulldogs.
Just the Georgia Bulldogs.
Bulldogs. She just said Bulldogs. So she's picking the Bulldogs by a score of 12. That is her score. Reese scores.
12. Reese knows a lot about football. I mean, a lot about football. She knows a lot about a lot of things. What? She is definitely right.
She's definitely right. Yeah. Get that a little close to you, peanut butter. There you go. Watch how it's wobbling.
You're wobbling.
I am. I'm not drinking tonight, so I'm not wobbling. I'm not wobbling. Beth Copenhagen in the chat room. Yay, go dog. Rob, too. That's 2 votes in the chat room. That's fantastic. All right, now let's go over our picks for the MVP. Rob predicts the MVP will be Christian McCarthy. McCaffrey. Big difference.
Big difference.
Big difference.
Not a quarterback.
Melissa McCarthy is not on the field
No.
this time. Although I think she could be a lead blocker for Christian McCaffrey, or CMC as they call him around 49ers caps. They call him CMC. So that is Rob's pick. Big John also predicts Christian McCaffrey.
Interesting.
Yeah, they both predict the same guy.
He started this by saying only a quarterback. Always a quarterback.
Yeah.
So you picked.
I picked. Who the hell did I pick? I picked Patrick Mahomes.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
So here's the reason. So can I tell him who I picked, or do you have to?
No, you tell. Go crazy.
I picked Pachenko on the Chiefs, and the reason I did that is because the Chiefs won.
Did you say Patenko or Pachenko?
Pachenko.
You got it right. I heard it right.
The Chiefs won the Super Bowl last year, and Patrick Mahomes was the MVP. And while I know that has probably happened in the past in the NFL before, where the same team wins the Super Bowl more than 1 year in a row, and the same person gets MVP, we are watching on Netflix a documentary called Quarterback, and it follows Patrick Mahomes. And I won't spoil much, but I will say I learned a very interesting thing about his on-field chatter, which I won't spoil, but was surprising to me. And so that makes me think he's the sort of guy who would sort of float the idea that he doesn't want to be the MVP a second time and he wants somebody else to be recognized. That's my guess. So if he has any sway like that and they win, I think maybe it'll be Pachenko.
I was going to go with Kelsey. I just think if the Chiefs win, that's a bridge too far even for anybody picking that game. They can't.
Yeah, they can't.
They don't. There's only so much bullshit heat people have to put up with in one lifetime.
Yeah, and I think if I'm right about Mahomes, then I think Kelsey's doing the same thing. He is putting it out there like, please, I do not need this kind of heat. I appreciate that this is so highfalutin for me to say before the game, but just in case.
Yeah, but how many MVPs in a row, Jen? How many Wayne Brady got? How many MVPs in a row? All right, so now that is our football extravaganza, and we still have a few minutes left.
Yeah. So if you guys have any questions, please put them in the chat room.
I did. Yeah, put them in the chat room. I did promise to tell you all why Taylor Swift is actually really Satan, really actually.
Did?
She really, yeah. It's in all the promo stuff I sent out.
Okay.
Didn't have time. Didn't have time to do my deep dive into, evil books, reference books, and evil. The dark web. Dark web. I didn't get a chance to figure that out. So all I got to show you is one random Google search. So fucking funny. Just randomly Googled Taylor Swift is Satan. Forbes video of Taylor Swift flashing a satanic gesture has gone viral. Is Taylor Swift a satanic choice? Why is Taylor accused by MAGA Christians of being a witch? Is Taylor Swift invoking witchcraft? Taylor Swift accusations of promoting Satanism. Taylor Swift is with Satan from CBS News. There's a crazy conspiracy that Taylor Swift is the satanic leader. I couldn't read the rest of the article. The one guy from the 70s, 60s, 70s. You don't follow the Church of Satan? No?
I don't.
Nothing?
No. Well, that's not the Church of Satan.
It's something. It's a satanic temple.
This is absolutely not the satanic temple.
Oh, no. No. What, Andre LeVay, is that right? Does that sound right?
Sure.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, move on with the bit.
Anton
LaVey. Thank you, Nell Zone. Anton LaVey.
What we're talking about.
Is Taylor Swift satanic clothes? And
Thank you, Sean.
I know you can Google anything and see everything, but we see this every day anyways.
Well, what we don't see there is anything that remotely resembles like somebody saying they have a fact or proof.
Well, yeah, I mean, but fair, you're not going to get that in the Google search. Video of Taylor Swift flashing. And this article was misleading because I saw her giving the double thumbs up, which is a standard, a staple, all the way back to You know, you can.
Oh, I thought you were saying that was like a satanic gesture.
No, I was like,
okay.
Don't tell me I can't do thumbs up now, for crying out loud. And it turns out it's a little. She flashes the goat, man. It's like everybody from Texas is University of Texas is going to Party for Satan. What?
Can I tell them one of my favorite things about the Rookie Tailgate Tour, which is a tiny bit embarrassing?
Sure,
to you?
Go for it.
So we're in Texas somewhere on the Rookie Tailgate Tour. We hardly know each other. If you guys don't know, we did this in 2009. Rob took a whole leg of the tour. Rob Otto took a whole leg of the tour as well. I did 10 days. He did 10 days. Then I did another 10 days. Scott did the whole thing. We're in Texas somewhere, and he's like, when he comes, where does Leland live? Gary Leland live? Houston?
Houston, yeah.
Yeah, so it's Houston. And they do it all up. Gary's a good friend of Scott's, and he's got like Kraken's flags flying from Gary was the one who made our jerseys before the pandemic. And so he's got this shop where he can make all these things. He got Kraken's flags flying from his car, paparazzi, like he sort of set up it's super fun. And Scott gets out of the car and he's like this. Yes! And I'm like, dude, you're telling them all you love them. Like, this is the goat. You're doing this. That's I love you in America.
Is that I love you?
Yes. And I said that to him, and he was like,
"Hey, Lynn!"
All right. Wait, I can't do it. He did both, Ben. It was great.
Yeah.
It was very sweet.
Yes, I have a lack of finger education because of all my time in the word mines.
Rob, not a word. Not a word. Rob.
Any
Not a word.
any questions we got? Jen prefers the bisexual finger guns. Chat room is chippy, getting a little chirpy tonight. It's very, very good. Very good. All right, you got a question for us, babe?
I do. Let me call it.
Call it right up. Call it right up. So next week, of course, I said in the chat room, my actual expose will drop why Taylor Swift was Satan and why she needed a break. Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
All right. Let's see. I have one question. That's too long.
Okay.
Let me go to the other. Give me a second.
Give me a... Will Scotty make a stink face? Will Scotty make a stink face?
You did. I was drinking my own drink. Did you make a stink face?
I wasn't. I mean, if I was Factor, I would not use a picture of me drinking that in advertisements. You know, that's
Okay. That's
all I'm going to say.
honest.
Because you're not supposed to say things about the advertiser. But they did. I do like that. I did have time to work in. Look at that upper right hand. Factormeals.com/Sigler50. Just like we're. And did you look at the top on the left?
I did.
GFL Live. You see that?
I did.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet, isn't it?
Okay.
It's pretty sweet. Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Okay. Well, let's see.
Gotta pick one.
Okay, this is from Jason Marshall. I recently finished The Crypt. I loved it. The attempt to bring World War II-style marine combat was expertly done, especially the need to do things in analog/manual fashion. I look forward to the next installment whenever it is available. My question around this, however, is whether or not there'll be a Q&A episode and perhaps other, quote, audible-only, end quote, audiobooks like Mount Fitzroy. I don't remember if this was ever addressed in the past, but it would be nice to have a focused Q&A for these properties.
All right, go back to Maine. Well, I'm glad that you like that. That's a rousing vote of endorsement. Hold on.
Vote of endorsement?
What did I say?
You said vote of endorsement.
Is that not what it is?
I mean, those are a vote and endorsement, kind of the same thing. Allow myself to introduce my endorsement.
Of course, what he's talking about is The Crypt. The Crypt by Scott Sigler. Published by Athon Books. Available now in hardcover, audiobook, and ebook. Go to scottsigler.com/thecrypt to learn more. Yeah, that's what he's talking about. And it's nice. I'm getting a significant number of military people coming back who really dug that everything felt real. Everything kind of passed the sniff test in the ship. But there's that old wag. There's, that Star Wars is an actual science fiction. It's fantasy because of for many reasons, the space wizards, but because of all the crazy stuff that happens in space combat. And space is not an ocean is a phrase that some hardcore sci-fi people throw around. It's not flat, you can't, there's not going to be, have dogfights like this. Battlestar Galactica was the best one so far to approach that. But I wanted to make a way that style of combat, or at least closer to it, is actually part of the science of the book, so that you can relax and enjoy your dogfights and your dive bombs and all that other stuff, because it all matches up. The other biggest challenge, of course, doing military sci-fi, the people who do it well and do it realistically, the ships kill each other from, light years away, miles away.
And I wanted to make sure this stuff had to get up close, personal, and nasty. So that was the other things to mitigate. Why can't you just target someone with a microwave from, half a light year away and zap them? There's a specific reason for that. So that's what he was talking about in that thank you. It was very good.
Yeah. I want to jump back for just a second. We are currently flip-flopping between a couple of shows. I don't know, are they called cable shows still? I don't know.
Just call them shows.
Shows. And really enjoying the back and forth of it. So I wanted to let you guys know, I mentioned earlier in this cast that we are watching on Netflix a documentary series that's 8 episodes called Quarterback. I actually heard about it and I said to Scott, like, hey, can we try this? I don't know if I didn't know anything about it. And he was like, it's a documentary about football. I'm pretty sure I'm going to love it. What is surprising is how much I am learning. If you guys recall, I am not a lifelong football fan. I have been watching football now for about 12, 13 years, maybe 15 years. And I'm not that good at it in some ways. And I'm a lot better than I used to be. But this is really helping me see different perspectives and actually something that you talk about all the time, which is there's not a quarterback on earth who is getting paid to play quarterback who is a dumb jock. It just doesn't exist. And you actually get to see this happen in 3 different ways. They follow Marcus Mariota and Kirk Cousins and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
And I would recommend it. It's 8 episodes. We are flip-flopping back and forth with Welcome to Wrexham. And that's on...
No spoilers in the chat room. We're almost done with
please,
season 1. No spoilers.
We're just watching season 1 and we're flipping back and forth. And if you're unfamiliar, we're watching it on Hulu. And that's Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney from Always Sunny in Philadelphia bought ownership of a football team in Wrexham, in Wrexham, Wales, and it is like in the middle of its tier, and it wants to move up into the Premier League, and this is following that story, and it's a really lovely difference between watching Quarterback. There's these 3 guys who make $1 bajillion a second, right? Who are professional football player quarterbacks. And then there's the Wrexham team, which is, owned by millionaires, but this is a very working class town. And it's been so interesting to kind of see the flip flop, because one thing that doesn't really change very much is the fans. And that's so interesting. So if you love Wrexham or you love the Kansas City Chiefs, it looks the same on camera if you're a true fan. And I found that very interesting. So I thought I'd share with you.
Yeah. Highly recommended. We do have a Sigler Funko, Jen. We'll bring that on next week. We actually have a Sigler Funko. Quarterback is phenomenal, and it covers multiple areas of why these are athletes unique in the world. One, as they mentioned, the ability to process information and study and analyze. If these guys are all very, very, very smart, and the show kind of exhibits that. And some people might write that off like, well, yeah, they got to learn a couple of plays or whatever. It's a completely different thing. So there's, of course, athletic intelligence, and that's a certain knack for reacting, certain speed, certain coordination, right? You have innate abilities. Some are better than others. And then you've got just regular computational intelligence and what these guys have to process while giant dudes are beating the crap out of them. And that's another thing this show exhibits in a much better way than I've seen before, is the punishment that these dudes take. And even when it's like a little fall with a lineman,
hey, Jude,
it's just bonkers when you get a lot of focused up close camera work on these guys getting tore up. And it also gets in deep with the family situations they all have, how their home life kind of revolves around this, interactions with the team, and the ongoing health condition of them, which is a huge, huge part of the NFL that people don't really get, is everything you can do between Sunday and Saturday night to get your body sort of, back in position to play is the difference between you guys winning and losing a game. So that it's fascinating.
And for me, I am quite unfamiliar with sort of sideline chatter and stuff like that. And you get to hear quite a lot of that, because I didn't know until we were watching this that the quarterback is mic'd all the time, but it's not instantly accessible. I didn't realize either one of those things. I thought if they would be mic'd, everybody who had the channel could hear him, but that's not true. But what's interesting is the nonstop chatter that each of these professional athletes have and how very different they are from each other. It's so, so interesting.
Yep. And Welcome to Wrexham, it's
a little depressing right now.
Yeah, wait, again, no spoilers. We're right
Last
in the
three
middle of it.
episodes were like, so now we're hoping that we can hopefully watch it tonight.
Hey, Scott Pond.
Hey, Scott Pond. Hopefully we watch it tonight and we'll get some happiness. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But that is anything else, babe?
I just want to say, Jennifer Hathorn, you were asking about the Sigler Funkos. We'll show them next week. You've probably seen them. They were handmade by Shannon Chavaria, who is also in the chat room for us. There's one of me and one of Scott, and they were our wedding cake toppers. So if you go back and look at June 28th, 2020, any photos around then in my stream, you will see them. They are adorable.
Did you bring up the second page of the script by chance?
I dare. It's all that was there.
No, I screwed that up. That's me. All right, that is it for Sigler in Place. We'll be back next week with Slay episode number 47, and that will be Valentine's Day with the Sigler in Place. With a Valentine's Day themed Sigler in Place.
And we're going to bring back one time only, always be eating on camera.
Oh, Jesus. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid I forgot in the schedule of the stank the most important part. The part that all of you will be grateful that you stayed on this long. I totally forgot.
I don't know.
Next week's Valentine's Day themed Sigler in Place is going to feature a selection of John Tweedy Valentine's Day poems.
Oh, snap.
Yep. We're going to have some, I've been in contact with Tweedy's people. He has written several wonderful poems, and we're going to read several of those during the course of the night.
He is nothing if not a poet.
He's a poet. He's a very lucid man. You know, he's able to see all the panoply of the human emotions.
Panoply.
Yeah, that's
okay.
right. That's right.
But until then, nothing changes about this part. We absolutely want you to stay smart.
We want you to stay science.
For the love of God, stay informed.
Stay informed. It's getting crazy out there, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey.
Let's be careful out there. Some of you know what that is. Some of you do not. Back to main cam.
Oh.
Got turn it, burn it.
I think this is the main cam now.
Come on. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, you enjoy your Super Bowl. Watch it. Have a good time. Join us Wednesday for the Valentine's Day themed Sigler Place. Be our Valentine's Day date if you don't have one. Until then, you can all kiss off into the sky. Hey.